welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host, Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is Sandy Clark, who's with the Old Saybrook Torchlight Committee. Sandy, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming down.
Thank
So
you.
Sandy, tell us a little bit about yourself, and I guess we're going to talk about the Torchlight Parade and all that other fun stuff going on associated with the parade during our time together tonight. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the parade.
Sure. So I actually am a resident of Westbrook. I have been all my life.
Okay.
I live here with my husband, and I have two grown boys.
Okay.
So my whole family is actually here. As far as the Torchlight Parade goes, I've been involved in Fife and Drum Corps since probably the age of 7, so that's a long time.
Right.
Just saying. You know, through that, I've been in different Fife and Drum Corps, and then ultimately ended up in the Colonial Saybrook Fife and Drum Corps in 1970 when it was actually, you know, founded. And the founder of that was Bill Reed. He was from Old Saybrook, and we would do the normal Fife and Drum Corps parades and musters and things of that nature. So Bill Reed is really the originator of the Torchlight Parade, and he started it again back in the 1970. And you know, it was where he wanted to have something different, so it was in the winter, so it was in December. Always has been the second weekend in December.
Okay.
And we get, you know, quite a few drum corps, and it's kind of expanded into where we have some, you know, floats that come in from local businesses, but it's not really an advertising parade. It's more about, you know, celebrating the holidays and getting, you know, all festive, and the floats are all decorated. And the Fife and Drum Corps actually, you know, dress in, if they're not wearing their uniform, they will actually be, you know, decorated in, you know, garland and lights and all kinds of things like that. And they play Christmas music.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So they've been doing it for, well, this is the 51st year.
Okay.
We have only canceled it 1 year for a blizzard. We have marched in freezing cold weather and a little bit warmer weather and rain and sleet and everything, you know, that nature throws at us. Last year we had like a mini parade, which was like one drum corps and a, you know, a couple torches, just because we wanted to commemorate the 50th year.
Yeah. And
because of COVID, we couldn't. So we did that. I actually, you know, had marched in the parade for many years, and then, you know, the drum corps kind of disbanded, but we kept the parade going.
Okay.
And, you know, I organized the parade along with my husband and Kenny and Chris Reed. They also helped. You know, Bill Reed was their grandfather, and unfortunately he's passed away a couple of years ago, so we are, you know, holding the torch in order to keep it going for him in his honor. Yep.
Now, as far as over the years, I've actually gone to the parade a couple times, and it's really cool to see, especially all of the marchers dressed up in period garb.
Yep, yep. They are in either period garb and even they just kind of decorate their hats, and you'll see all kinds of different, you know, things that they're wearing. They always play, a lot of them play Christmas music.
Right.
You know, of course, we do have the Second Company Governor's Foot Guard that's coming again this year. I don't think they've missed a year. You know, they'll be in their regular uniforms, so they lead off the parade for us.
Now, let's talk about the parade route. Where does it start?
It starts down at the beginning of Coulter Street and Main Street, that end of town, and it goes right down Main Street all the way almost to the firehouse, right to the green where it ends. Yeah, so it's a straight shot right down. And we get a lot of people that, you know, are standing on the side of the roads, and, you know, they're like 10 people deep, and some of them will carry, you know, candles or things like that just to light the parade. We also, one thing I should mention is each unit has some torches that can be carried. So if anybody wants to carry a torch in the parade, they can report up to Coulter Street, and there'll be somebody to give them a torch to march in the parade with.
And it's a real torch with fire?
It's a real torch with real fire.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the way we light it. There's no other lighting, so that's how we march down.
And obviously the real torch with real fire, if it's windy, Will it
Blows out.
blow? I was going to say, well,
Yeah, it blows out, yeah.
what happens if it blows out?
It just blows out, you know.
You basically
you
just
keep
walk up
going.
Main Street
Just keep
with your
going.
torch, and it's
Yep.
dark. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. But I think with a lot of people along the side of the road, you know, some of them have lights or flashlights or something, and you know, we do have some floats that will come later on. We usually put the marching units first,
okay.
so the floats don't drown out the fifes and drums.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of lights with the floats.
Absolutely.
Usually.
Now let's talk about your involvement with the fife and drum over the years. How you got started, and
Well, my whole family was in it. I have 5 siblings, so we were all in it.
Okay.
The 4 of us girls all played the fife. My brother played the drum, and we started in the Westbrook Junior Fife and Drum Corps.
Sure.
And my mom used to march with us when we went to parades, and that's how I got started. And just moved from, you know, when you outgrow the juniors, so you
Yeah.
have to go to another, drum corps, which I went to the Patriots. They're not in existence anymore, but my sister and brother-in-law and my husband, we all marched with that corps. And then we moved to the Colonial Saybrook Fife and Drum Corps. And then after that, I didn't, march anymore. I've had quite a few years of it.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. Now, how did you guys with the Fife and Drum Corps survive the pandemic when it first started, and continuing to where we are now?
Well, because I'm not totally involved in it now, like a lot of people are. A lot of the musters were canceled. There's quite a few musters in the state of Connecticut,
Right.
and even outside of the state. So, they had to cancel all of their musters for last year, and they did start up with Deep River in July of this
Yep.
year, so it was pretty well attended. And Westbrook had their muster
I was going to say
as well.
Westbrook had theirs this year.
Yeah, and there's a bunch more throughout the state.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually involved with another civic organization in Saybrook, and it's the Old Saybrook Westbrook Exchange Club. And the exchange, I can always tell you when Muster Saturday is, because the Saturday of the muster in Westbrook, the Westbrook Exchange Club does their 5K road race that morning.
Okay.
So I'm in Madison at Cohen's Bagels at about 10 after 6 in the morning, picking up bagels, going back to Saybrook, dropping them off, cutting bagels, staying for the race, and then coming back to Westbrook for the muster.
Oh
It's
boy,
like,
busy day.
Oh
busy
God,
day.
really?
Yeah.
It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, if people want to march in the parade, can they or no?
Well, we have, like Girl Scouts that can come.
Okay.
We have some signed up. Sometimes we'll have a football team. So anybody, we have a lot of dance groups
Okay.
that are, participating. So if anybody wants to participate, they certainly can.
Okay.
They would reach out to me. I can give an email address.
Sure.
And or my mailing address, and I can send them out a registration form, and they can come. So
Absolutely.
we do have a whole broad array of different marching units. So, yeah.
How many marching units for this year so far?
Well, I've got about
Give or
20,
take.
25
Okay.
for drum corps. We've got a bunch. There's always a bunch of floats that show up, and
Okay.
then we have some regiment, units where they're going to shoot muskets during the parade, and so we have some of those as well. So we have some churches that march with us. So we run the whole gamut.
Now for the day of the muster parade, do you march, or are you behind the scenes somewhere?
I am behind the scenes.
Making sure everything goes off.
Yes.
Without a
Yeah.
hitch, you might say.
Yeah, by then I'm done with my part. I'm at the end of the parade, and we have these posters for
Yeah,
sale.
let's talk about the posters.
Yep, and we have muster buttons too that people collect.
Okay.
So the poster we get, we do every year,
Yeah.
and the artwork from the poster is done by a fellow out in Washington State. He's been doing the artwork for the poster for me for years.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Now, if people want more information on the muster, where can they go? Obviously, there's probably a Facebook page to go to.
There is a Facebook page that the Old Saybrook Torchlight Parade that they
Okay.
can access. They can call me at 860-399-9767.
Okay.
Or send an email, and that's ssclar4@gmail.com.
And it sounds to me like the Torchlight Parade is going to be a lot of fun this year.
It should be a lot of fun. It should
Absolutely. And
be.
hopefully the weather hopefully the weather holds out and you guys get a beautiful night for everything, because it's probably no fun in the rain.
No. But, one thing I wanted to mention is we have kind of like a late entry, and, there's a Congregational Church, or First Church of Christ, in Old Saybrook, that wants to have their choir come out and sing.
Sure.
Now, years ago, we used to end the parade right at the gazebo on the green, and we would do a carol sing for a while.
Sure.
And we haven't done that for quite a few years because the crowd was dwindling. But this year, they want to sing some carols.
All right.
So we are having them start around 5:30 or so, and they're going to be on a reviewing stand that's around, I think it's around the Catholic Church there, and they'll be just singing there. There'll be 10 or 12 of them, and they'll be singing there for about 20 minutes or so for anybody that happens to be walking by. So.
Very cool.
But we're hoping maybe next year we'll expand and we'll actually have them sing after with, have people come to the end of the parade, and maybe they'll stay and they'll want to sing.
I was going to say, what do people do after the parade? Is there a reviewing stand, or?
There's a reviewing stand, but that's during the parade.
Right.
After the parade, they pretty much are pretty cold, so they
Yeah.
all go home. Now there is hot chocolate and goodies for the marchers, and we get some of the general public in at the end of the parade. There's a tent, and they can come get some hot chocolate and get warmed up.
Very cool. Very cool. You guys sound like you guys got all your work cut out for you, because you sound very organized and very with everything going on.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing it a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like sounds like it's a lot of fun.
It is, and a lot of people come into town early, and they go to the restaurants, and the restaurants sometimes will have hot chocolate outside, or do something like that. So
absolutely,
a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was going to say, I can think of a specific coffee shop downtown in Saybrook, which is right on the parade route, that will probably make a killing that night.
Yeah, I think they all do pretty well, which is good.
Yeah. And as far as so it's always the second Saturday in December?
Yes, always the second Saturday in December, and always steps off right at 6.
Okay.
Usually at the beginning of the parade, my husband and my kids and Ken and Chris Reed will be down there, getting people lined up in the right order, and making sure the floats all get into line. But they start at 6. Every year they manage to kick it off right then. And
the parade is how long normally?
I would say it lasts a good hour. Hour and 15 minutes maybe by the time it all gets done. So it's a lot of fun.
It seems like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'll have to put it on my schedule for this year to.
Yeah.
Rain
or shine.
Absolutely. Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Sure.
We'll be right back.
People ask me, is it hard to figure out if I should get tested for coronavirus? Well, as a professor, I love giving a pop quiz. Are you experiencing fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath, fatigue, or body ache? Well, then coronavirus testing is available without a referral, and it's the best way to protect yourself and your family. It actually reminds me of Plato, who once said, "The price good men pay." Okay, I deserve that.
My kids put skis on as they were learning to walk. I want my kids to be able to have those moments with their kids. Being a scientist, I'm worried about climate change in so many different ways for my kids. From the second you have a child, you want to do everything to protect them. I think our action on climate change is no different. It's just an extension of being a mom.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Sandy Clark, who's with the Old Saybrook Torchlight Parade. Sandy, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for sticking around. So, Sandy, let's start from the top again and talk about the history of the Torchlight Parade and how it got started.
So it started by a man named Bill Reed. He's the originator, the founder, and he was the leader of the Colonial Saybrook Fife and Drum Corps. And he just wanted to have, there were all these musters that were going on in the summer and the fall, and just wanted to have something different. So he decided that we would do a torchlight parade in December. Now it's the only one at the time, it was the only one in New England that was in December with fife and drum chorus, which gradually expanded again to, floats and things like that. But so we've been doing it for this will be our 51st year, and that's how it started.
And as far as, I know we talked about this in the first segment, it's always the second Saturday in December?
Yeah, always the second Saturday and steps off at 6. Rain or shine. I mentioned, I think we only canceled it one time for a true blizzard.
Oh boy.
And we waited to the last minute to cancel. But, and other than last year, we had a small, little group that marched just to say we had it for the 50th year, which was kind of sad. We couldn't have a big parade. But this year we have at least 20 marching units, or fife and drum corps actually.
All right.
And we've got them coming from Hackettstown, New Jersey, Lexington, Massachusetts. So they travel from different states to come to this.
Okay.
We usually get a group from Vermont, Long Island, and of course a lot of the local fife and drum corps come. They look forward to it.
How many local fife and drum corps are there in the state of Connecticut? Give or take.
Gosh, I'm not even sure I could make an accurate guess.
Okay.
There's got to be, I don't know, 50, maybe more.
Okay. All right.
There are a lot.
All right.
There are.
Didn't know.
And from all age groups. There's like junior drum corps up to the senior drum corps, and some of them have bugles that are with them, and mostly they're fife and drum though. Yep.
Now, as far as the parade route, you said they start on Coulter Street, and if people don't know where Coulter Street is, I'm going to landmark it by Liberty Bank in Old Saybrook.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
People are like, "Where's Coulter Street?" I'm like, "You know where Liberty Bank is in Old Saybrook?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That side street." They're like,
Right. Yeah, you do have to
I didn't know that.
a landmark.
I'm like, I found that out recently. I've always known it as the street running parallel to Liberty Bank in Old Saybrook. I literally found out what the name of the street was recently. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
now I know.
Now you know. Now you know.
And so they stage on Coulter Street and then just march right up Route 1?
Right. The fife and drum corps and like the Girl Scouts, the dance groups, they will all line up on Coulter Street.
Okay.
If you were going to be having a float with a truck or something like that, we would want you to park along the road by where the monkey farm is, the one that kind of goes down towards the train station.
Yes.
Just because we can't, block Boston Post Road or Main Street.
Yeah, no.
And the as soon as whatever order they're in when they line up there is the order they'll go for the parade. We just can't juggle them around.
No.
The fife and drum corps we have in a very specific order because they're a little bit easier to manage.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, as far as the floats go, are there a good amount of floats this year?
There are a good amount of floats, and they outdo each other every year.
Really?
Some of them are really, really beautiful to see. And they all have music. Most of them have music, so that's why we do put them towards the end so that they don't drown out the fife and drums, which can only play just so loud.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And as far as the history, well, we talked about the history of the Torchlight Parade, and I'm sure as far as we talked about last year's mini parade, how was that? Well, it probably wasn't as much fun or was much well attended as in years past.
It really wasn't even advertised. It was just something so that we could, make sure that we actually did something, especially given that, Bill Reed wasn't with us anymore. We wanted to just somehow celebrate the Torchlight without missing a year. So.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that had to be a heartbreaking decision to try to, because of the pandemic, cancel the parade.
It was tough, yeah. Yep.
And I'm sure during the weather, you said you guys had to cancel the parade once at the last minute because of the blizzard, and that had to be it.
Yeah, because you go through all this work to prepare, you get everybody all excited about it, you get the drum corps, going, and probably most of the floats were already done,
Yeah.
and then you have to cancel.
Yeah, that had to be not a fun call to make.
No.
Trying to cancel the parade. It's like,
No.
yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
And then you have to
maybe.
notify people, which is kind of tough.
Yeah, absolutely. I would dread making the phone call.
Yeah.
As far as,
Yeah.
sorry, the parade's canceled. No, and I'm sure during the parade, the businesses downtown are pretty frequented by the people that are on the parade route.
Yep. Usually people come into town, early that day in the afternoon and find a place to park and then go out to eat or do some shopping.
So obviously get there early because parking, once everything gets set up and gets going, parking downtown is probably going to be a premium.
Right, it will be. And then they'll close the road down, for the parade itself. So you won't be able to get down there. Yeah.
Now where should you suggest parking if you're coming in for the parade?
I would, actually, I like parking down at the end by the fire station, not at the fire station, of course,
Yeah.
but, there's some back parking
Sometime.
lots there you can get into or some street parking. Because then that way you can actually make a little bit of a quick getaway down the old Boston Post Road if you need to. Otherwise, you're going to get held up in traffic a little bit
So if you want to try to sneak out, you can. Otherwise,
when the parade is over. Yeah.
otherwise, if you don't sneak out, you're there for the duration, and you're there after the duration is over because you don't know how long it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, because it's more about after the parade and just trying to get out without
Right.
total traffic jam.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you guys with the parade work well with all the town organizations, the first selectmen, the
Yep.
police department.
Yeah. We get that all coordinated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, usually that's done by Kenny and Chris Reed.
Gotcha.
I don't do that part. They usually handle that, and they make sure the tent gets set up at the end of the parade, with a heater
Oh yeah.
and things like that. Yeah. They
Yeah,
do a
'cause
lot of that coordinating.
I can say you do not want a freezing cold night with no heater,
No.
nothing. It's like
We did that for a long time, but now we have a heater. I like
yeah,
that.
they
Heaters are good.
oh, absolutely. Heaters are awesome. And I'm sure during the parades in the past, and the parades going forward, you guys are very big on getting out there and supporting your local community, especially with what we're in the middle of right now, because it's always good to get out and do some sort of fun activity, because after being stuck indoors for many months, it's let me out, I want to go do something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, plus, it gives people, it gets them into the holiday spirit too.
Right.
You're seeing all these people marching, you're all bundled up and your hot chocolate, and so I think it's a great time for everyone. And they bring a lot of people to town. I mean, not just the drum corps, but general public. And the drum corps, if they're from far away, a lot of them stay overnight, so they're in the hotels, and so it's great.
Absolutely. Now, what type of information can people find on the Facebook page?
Well, typically, I just put on there, like, if we happen to have to cancel for some reason, that would be on it. But I would put out, the date, the time, and things like that. I think a lot of people share it, and they really just go there to see, or to make sure that the parade is actually still going to be happening. So
That's actually how I found you guys.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
Through the Facebook post. Somebody shared it on my site, and I'm
okay.
like, you know what? Let's reach out to them. And the worst case scenario, they tell me no.
Oh, no,
I
we
can
would never
I
say
can
no.
I can handle the word no. That's not.
Nope.
That's not.
No, more advertising we can get, the better, or get a lot more people to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, as far, again, the parade is the second Saturday in December, starting at 6 p.m.,
Yep.
I believe.
Yep. 6 p.m. Yep. It'll run about an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay.
From start to finish. But depending upon how many floats there are, that usually adds a little bit to the end.
Absolutely. And like you said, you guys have a full run gamut of activities. You got fife, you got drum, you got floats.
Yep. We have.
You got Girl Scouts.
Girl Scouts, dance groups. We have usually a radio station comes, and they have their van in there. So, and I just want to put a message out there. If anybody does want to put a float in, you know, they can contact me, or if they just come to the parade with their float, we do ask that, you know, you can hand things out, like candy or something like that, candy canes, whatever it is. We just ask that nobody throw things out because, you know, being dark, 6 o'clock, it's really dark.
You don't want to hit somebody with something.
You've got these little kids that are going to run out to the road to get something, and you've got these big floats and trucks and fire trucks are in it.
And people with muskets and all that.
Yeah, we just don't want anybody hurt.
No.
We have not had an accident yet, so we don't want one.
No accidents.
Right, so we do ask that if you want to hand something out, that's fine, but just
there's
don't,
no tossing. There's no
tossing.
tossing of stuff off floats.
Right. Unlike summer where you might be able to do that, but
it's
too dark.
No, you can't. No, don't do that. And public safety, you don't. Do not be throwing things off floats.
Right. Yep.
And that is always a good thing. But people can, obviously, if they want to march or exhibit their float, they can get in touch with you and you can put them in the...
Yeah. We won't turn anybody away.
No.
The more the merrier.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like a really cool organization, a really cool time. It's already on my calendar for this year.
Great.
And I think that would be a lot of fun. So if people want more information on the Old Saybrook Torchlight Parade, where can they go?
They can call me at 860-399-9767.
Okay.
They can reach me through email at ssclar4@gmail. Or they can go to the Facebook page and send me a message.
Cool. Sandy Clark from the Torchlight Parade, thanks for some time, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, hope so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No problem. On behalf of Sandy Clark, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks. Good night. We'll see you next time.